Welcome to Practice English Conversations. Are you ready to practice your English and become more fluent? Let's get started.
Hi, Leo. How are you today?
Hi, Zara. I'm doing well, thank you. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. I was just reading the news this morning and thought it would be nice to talk about our news reading habits. Do you often read the news?
Yes, I do. I like to check the news every day. I usually read online articles on my phone and sometimes watch the news on TV in the evening. What about you, Zara?
I read the news every day too. I like to see what is happening in our city and around the world. I mostly use a news app on my phone. It gives me short summaries of important events.
That sounds useful. I also use a news app called Global Daily. It has a simple layout and I can quickly see headlines.
I like that too. I think having clear and simple news is important because it helps me understand the world without feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. Sometimes there is too much information and it can be confusing. I prefer news articles that use simple language.
Me too. I also like to read about local events. For example, I read an article about a new park opening near my neighborhood. It was very interesting because it showed community projects and upcoming events.
I enjoy local news as well. It helps me know what is happening in my community. I often check local news for events like festivals, new businesses, or even traffic updates.
That's right. Besides local news, I sometimes read international news. I like to know about big events in other countries, especially about science and culture.
Yes, international news is very interesting. I read about scientific discoveries and sometimes learn about how different countries celebrate their traditions.
I also try to balance my reading. When the news seems too negative, I look for stories about people helping others or positive community projects.
I do the same. Reading positive news makes me feel hopeful. It reminds me that there is good in the world, even when things are hard.
Absolutely. I also like to share interesting news with my friends on social media. For example, if I read a story about a new invention or a beautiful event, I post it on Facebook.
That is a good idea. I often share news articles on Twitter, especially if they're about technology or local events. It helps me start conversations with others.
Do you ever discuss the news with your family?
Yes, I do. My family and I often talk about the news during dinner. We ask each other, "What is the most interesting news you read today?" It is a great way to share our thoughts and learn different opinions.
I love that. I discuss the news with my classmates too. Sometimes we have a small conversation about an article we read in class. It helps me see different points of view.
That's very useful. I believe that discussing news makes us better informed and helps us form our own opinions.
I agree. Also, I sometimes write a short note in my journal about a news story that moved me. It helps me remember important details and my feelings about it.
Writing notes is a great habit. I do that as well. It helps me review what I have learned and think about what the news means for my life.
Do you worry sometimes about fake news?
Yes, I do. There is a lot of false information online, so I always check the source of the news before I trust it. I look for clear authorship and compare it with other trusted sites.
That is very important. I always look for news from reputable websites, and I try to read different articles about the same topic to be sure.
Me too. Reliable news sources help me stay informed without getting confused by wrong information.
Do you have a favorite type of news? I really like sports news and sometimes science news.
I enjoy sports news a lot. I like to know the results of local games and major international tournaments. I also read a bit about technology and science because I am interested in new inventions.
That is great. I enjoy sports news as well, especially when I can watch a short video clip about a game. It makes me feel excited.
Yes, videos are very engaging. I sometimes watch clips on YouTube to see highlights of sports events.
I also use YouTube to watch news summaries. They are short and help me understand the day's events quickly.
That's a good way to save time. I use YouTube in the morning sometimes instead of reading long articles.
Do you think reading the news helps you in your daily life?
I do. It keeps me updated on important events and helps me plan my day. For example, if there is heavy traffic reported, I take a different route to work.
That makes sense. I also plan my day based on the weather forecast from the news. If it is going to rain, I bring an umbrella.
Yes, the news gives me practical information. I also like learning about community events that I might join.
I feel the same way. I always look forward to local festivals or charity events that are announced in the news.
Sharing our news habits really shows how important information is for our daily decisions.
Absolutely. I believe that staying informed helps us become responsible citizens.
I agree, Zara. It makes us aware of what is happening around us, and we can then discuss ideas or take actions to improve our community.
Sometimes, I even think about writing my own news blog. I would share simple news stories and my opinions on current events.
That sounds like a fun idea. Writing a blog can help you express your thoughts and also help others learn.
Yes, and it can also improve my writing skills. I would start with topics that I understand well, like local events and positive news stories.
I might consider writing too, perhaps on a topic I am interested in, like technology news or sports highlights.
That would be interesting, Leo. We could even share our blogs with each other and discuss what we have written.
I would like that. It is always good to have someone to exchange ideas with.
Thank you for this conversation, Leo. Talking about news reading habits makes me feel more connected to the world and helps me appreciate reliable information.
Thank you, Zara. I enjoyed our chat too. It is nice to share our favorite news sources and how we use news to guide our day.
Let's keep in touch and discuss more news stories in the future. I would love to hear your thoughts on the next big event.
I would love that, Zara. I will definitely share interesting articles with you when I find them.
Great. Have a wonderful day, Leo. And keep reading the news that inspires you.
You too, Zara. Enjoy your day and happy reading.
Goodbye, Leo.
Goodbye, Zara.
Great job practicing with us today. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next English conversation. See you in the next video. Keep practicing and stay confident.